Hello!
Hello, AOS fans!
It's the agents of Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Woo! Yes, back on the Marvel Crisis Protocol. We're trying to get a few of these together to try and get up a narrative going and get into the game. So we're not every time we start scratching our heads trying to remember what to do.
Yep, well, we'd still do anyway, but it doesn't stop us.
Hopefully you've watched the first instalment of our little mini storyline of the Skrulls trying to infiltrate New York City.
Yep.
If you haven't seen that yet, then do go and have a look. If you haven't seen it and you don't care what happened in that, we're just going to do a quick recap of the story so far.
After the heroes clashed with the Skrull last time, it would appear that the Skrulls had managed to extract the suspected agent before the heroes could close in and kidnap him for themselves.
Yeah, suspicion is he's a mayor of one of the New York boroughs.
The heroes had managed to capture the super serum from the Skrull, which means their powers to blend in with all the other people around them are starting to wane.
So now it's becoming obvious who is a Skrull agent on the street. So it's a race against time as our heroes try and snatch the Skrulls before they can do any more damage, and the Skrulls try and rescue their agents before they're captured by the heroes.
And the Skrull have placed and set off some extremist terminals around the area to try and sow discord and chaos to try and help give them some cover so they can extract their agents, and the heroes are going to be fighting through that. But we need to work out, or we need to allocate the envelopes. Anyone who hasn't watched the first game, one of these says heroes and one says Skrulls, so we don't know who's who.
No. So we play and then we reveal who has won at the end.
So Robin, which one are you going to take?
One.
So there we go. So at the end of the game, once we've finished and tightened up all the points and seen who's won, we will then find out who the Skrull were and whether the Skrull have managed to beat the heroes once more.
Yes, very exciting.
So we have already set up, we have rolled for initiative, Robin has it, and we're going to start crashing on with the game.
Absolutely. Okay, I won initiative, and for her priority, and the first thing I did was move Deadpool up to secure the terminal.
I then ran Sabretooth all the way across over there to secure that terminal.
I then moved up Miles Morales, Spider-Man, to interact with George Lucas there, and spent a PowerPoint to do that, and George was picked up as per the objectives, and then Miles went to get the latte, and also hide from any stray bullets from Nebula.
Gamora ran up and grabbed hold of Fireman Sam there, and for her second movement, she just moved up to secure that objective as well.
Oh, there's terminals all over the place.
There are.
Next up for me was Miss Marvel. She moved the car as she went and wobbled the tree. And then she did two moves and she stood up next to the terminal as well.
And I moved up Nebula and was going to start blasting people in the face with her standard sort of blaster pistol attack, which is 4 dice.
Presumably the newly moved up Miss Marvel.
Yes. I did manage to get a couple of hits there, but I forgot to use my assassin ability to re-roll my misses, which was quite annoying.
Re-roll your misses.
Yep.
And I got 1 defence, which I did get a crit with the re-roll.
And you also get an inhuman roll as well and get another one, but you failed that. So you only took 1 damage in the end.
Yep. And then I moved up Spider-Gwen.
You decided to kick over the scenery.
Yep. She had an attack. It was her spider technique attack.
This is on Gamora, I think. You got 3 successes there, but then I was incredibly jammy. Rolled a crit and a shield, and when I re-rolled, well, for my crit, I got another shield, so I completely blocked that one as well.
The inhuman Ms. Marvel was marvelling at the inhuman Gamora.
Yeah.
But Spider-Gwen then whipped up to get near Gamora.
I then decided to use one of my cards, my Fastball Special. I moved up Colossus and then used the Fastball Special to lob Wolverine and then move across.
And you were throwing directly at Lego Pete there. Lego Pete must have been absolutely thrilled by that.
He was.
Then I moved She-Hulk. She captured Robin, whee, and then jumped onto the building. Woo!
And the last person to activate is Wolverine, who grabbed me and climbed up to the top of the building, ready to start stabbering She-Hulk in the face. And he launched his adamantium slash attack.
Yeah, this was going to end up being the tussle of the whole game.
I think it's going to go on for a long time. I did get a couple of successes in there, but that was it. I couldn't do any re-rolls. I got no swirlies or anything like that.
And She-Hulk had a Bonza roll.
Just smashed it.
All 3 successes, and then just to add insult to injury, I tried to roll the crit, but it came to nothing.
So the end of the first round, and the score is
4 to me.
4 and 3 to me.
3 to me. Let's call it there.
No, I completely forgot that there's a a thing here I should try and capture. Kind of forgot about Colossus. I don't know what Colossus is doing. He's running off somewhere. He's like, I've got an arm. I'm running away. No good, Colossus.
It might work out in your favour, I suppose, because you have. I suppose I've got Deadpool out of the game, but then your Colossus is out of the game, so it's hard to know.
Yeah, but your Deadpool is capturing something at the minute, so that didn't help me.
I was thinking you might have numbers over, but Colossus is kind of just bumbling along. You did throw Wolverine, which is quite exciting.
I did like that.
She-Hulk's looking a little bit worrisome up there. That's quite a mighty fighting force.
Yeah, they're both scary, stabby, bitey people, so it's hard to tell. But over on the other flank, you know, you definitely have the superiority there because I've only got one person.
Yeah, only one person can contest, and I've got 3 people here to try and take down those two ladies. Could be interesting.
I am enjoying the fact that over on this side, there's 4 heroes. They're all women. They're all just kicking the hell out of each other. Well, they will be kicking the hell out of each other in a minute, I suspect. So.
Yeah, I've deliberately kind of picked my heroes to be New York's finest almost. So they're all New York denizens, I believe.
I don't think any of mine are. I've got a couple of Canadians over here, a couple of aliens over there, and a Russian. So
you must be the Skrulls.
I've got to be the Skrull. We will find out at the end. So it's on to round 2.
Bing, bing. I got very excited at the start of round 2. I had enough power to embiggen Ms. Marvel. So she got embiggened, and then she used a high 5 attack on Gamora, and I got a couple of 3 successes there, and I could re-roll 1, but it didn't come through anything.
In fact, you could re-roll 2 because you were embiggenated.
Yes, I was embiggenated.
Still only got 3 successes, and Gamora started her charmed life with 3 defences.
Boo. Never mind, I'll have another go because I'm right there, I've got nowhere else to go, I'll have another go. Oh, great.
Only the 1 the second time round. You did get to re-roll 2, but still only got 1 again.
And Gamora just brushed it off really, didn't she?
Well, no, I did take 1 damage on that one. So.
Okay. And then the embiggen finishes at the end of the activation. So that was the first mini switch out of Ms. Marvel.
So on my go, I decided to attack with Nebula and do her shock short attack, which did a massive 5 initial hits, and then I rolled all my crit dice as well, and up to 7 hits. It was
7 hits.
Brutal.
Ow. And that was on Spider-Gwen, wasn't it? And I rolled nothing, which was enough to take her down.
She was stunned in one smash.
Dazed. Okay, we always get the nomenclature wrong.
Dazed. So I then decided to use my strike attack onto Miss Marvel. I got 2 hits there. One of them was crit, but I didn't get anything extra there, so 2 hits in total.
And I rolled 1 defense, and I can re-roll 1 from Ms. Marvel because she's inhuman, which was not a success, so just 1 damage.
1 damage.
Miles finishes his coffee, still got the cup in one hand, flips over and lands on the terminal. And he's going to make an attack. He's swinging his webline kick, and he makes that against Gamora.
You get 3 successes. And at this point, I decided to use Gamora's martial prowess, which costs 2 power, but allows me to roll 5 defense dice. And if I don't take any damage, you actually take damage instead.
And it was quite tense because you rolled 2 crits and you needed 3 successes.
And I only re-rolled 1 for some reason.
Oh yeah, luckily, thanks for that.
But I forgot, and so I did take 1 damage, and you could then knock me back into the bin, which gets destroyed, and Gamora takes 1 damage.
Look, it rolls out.
So when I activate Gamora, I leg her back to the terminal and just use 1 of her power to heal herself 1.
And then Deadpool just stands on the terminal thinking, what am I doing here?
Just does some colouring in.
Yeah.
Wolverine activates next, and then he decides to do an adamantium slash onto She-Hulk. I managed to get 4 hits, one of those being a crit. Wolverine did very well this whole game for me, I think. So 4 hits on She-Hulk.
And just the 1 defense roll.
So 3 damage there.
Yeah.
And I decided I might as well just have another go and rack up some energy. I managed to get just another 3 with a crit.
You crit, so that gave you Pierce?
No, the swirly gave me Pierce.
Pierce. So, oh yes. So that meant that I was up against it for this defense roll because you converted that crit to a blank.
Nothing. So
I just had the 1 shield.
Yeah, and I then gave you the bleed effect because of that.
Yeah. She-Hulk didn't mind that though. She's got plenty of power on her now for what's coming next.
That's the problem. When you start hitting She-Hulk, you just make her angry.
There's going to be a reckoning.
After doing those 2 attacks, I decided to blow all of the power that Wolverine had to help free the agent that he'd captured, which then gave me 2 victory points.
She-Hulk then, she's going to use that power that she's just been given by Wolverine smashing her in the face to use the defense rests, which is a lovely 9 dice attack. The return on that wasn't great. It was on Sabretooth. I think I had quite a long deliberation over which fighter to attack. And I used it against Sabretooth. You did 1 defence. I did a couple of damage. But then I think you reacted back, didn't you?
I did. Sabretooth used his Untamed Force, which cost me 2 energy, but enabled me to use a claw slash attack back at you, which in retrospect possibly wasn't a good idea because I just give you more energy.
Maybe more energy, yeah.
So I had a slash there. I did 2 hits and another crit reroll, which gave me nothing else. So 2 hits.
2 hits, and I actually defended both of them.
Yeah, so that didn't really help me at all. Just spent some of my energy.
So then I used Clear the Court. I must have had 3 power left. I used Clear the Court to throw Sabretooth off the building. Whee!
And into the fire truck, which then does 1 damage to him. But I used Brace for Impact, which meant I didn't take any damage at all.
I'm just going to say it's an ice cream van.
It's an ice cream van? Oh, you're right,
truck,
it is.
Yeah. Quite a difference.
I mean, one of them you definitely don't want turning up when your house is on fire, that's for sure.
But of course, that was only using a superpower, so she still had 1 action left, but she did then use Sensational Uppercut on Wolverine.
Ow. You actually got a much nicer roll there.
It was a good roll.
5 successes.
Yeah.
Wolfie does have 4 defense dice though, because he's pretty tough.
He is.
I only rolled 3 for some reason.
Does he have 4?
He does have 4.
He only rolled 3.
Yeah, I didn't get any successes anyway.
It's hard this game. And then at the end of her turn, She-Hulk used the Fox. She just did 5 damage to Wolverine. She cashed in the 5 power she got from that 5 damage with 1 power she had left, and she managed to liberate her target as well.
Then moved on to Colossus, who then just came running across the board after Deadpool. It's going to take him a long time to get there because
he likes the roads. He's the Colossus of Rhodes.
He is. And then I had Sabretooth left, who managed to claw his way back up to the top of the building. But that was it, because he'd been slowed from before, and I had to use my power to get his action back. So it ended round 2, Robin. What are the scores?
They're 9 to me and 7 to you, Pete. I managed to just hang on to this terminal. You're like a fraction of an inch away from being able to hold that, which was a bit lucky.
But now Deadpool's got Colossus bearing down on him.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting challenge. I think that Deadpool probably won't win.
Well, it's hard to tell, but
yeah.
I loved the idea up here of She-Hulk just punching Sabretooth in the face and then just punting him off the edge of the building and going slamming into a truck, and then just absolutely fantastic.
Over here, Nebula just absolutely wrecked.
She's terrifying.
Spider-Gwen. So Spider-Gwen's day. She'll be back up next turn, but what can she do? It's a good question. I guess she can't hold objectives now, so I think she's just going to try and make a mischief of herself.
Yeah, I mean, that was a ridiculous roll, and your dice seem to have followed you from the last game. But overall, you are winning. It is all about points.
Yeah, 9 plays 7 just as a result of hanging on to a couple of extra terminals. We both got rid of 1 person each.
Yep.
I mustn't forget that Miles has got one over there because he's the one. He's reasonably likely to drop it.
He could if Gamora decides to go after him. So on to round 3.
Started off with round 3. I actually used one of my cards which I selected for this game, a Better Tomorrow. It has Miss Marvel and Miles to kind of work together, and I can move Miss Marvel up to 3 away.
3 away.
3 away, and then
you can
Miles,
embiggen her as well.
And she embiggens, and then Miles moves within 1 of her. I tried to get Miles kind of away from Gamora and Nebula so that he wouldn't die. But I'm there poised, ready to take the objective. That's my plan. There's possibly a mistake, but rather than using Miles on Ms. Marvel, I moved over to Spider-Gwen, and she tried a 3-star beatdown on Gamora, but the roll, basically her dice deserted her yesterday, during this game, and I wasn't very happy about that.
No, I managed to deflect that one. Nebula was unfazed by that first attack.
So phased was Ghost, but I think she then tried it again.
But you did manage to get 4 hits that time with some much needed swirliness.
Yeah, that was a better hit, and you didn't say anything.
Stopped nothing.
And then I threw her away.
Now people might notice at this point, with 4 damage, Nebula should have been dead, but I was looking at the wrong side of her card, so I thought she had 5 wounds. So that could have, It's very hard to tell.
It can be tricky to tell, yeah.
So you shoved her away.
Yeah.
Then I decided to activate Nebula, even though I shouldn't have been allowed. So I decided to use my Shock Short attack.
Shaber!
The Shaber onto Miss Marvel. And I only did 1 hit, which is
very shocking.
But Miss Marvel was quite unimpressed by that and managed to bounce that away pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then after that, I could move Nebula up because of the Shock Short attack. But after that, I decided to play Daughters of Thanos, which meant that both Nebula and Gamora both paid 2 power, and Gamora got to do her attack.
Dirty attack, that is.
It is, and she decided that she didn't have any energy left after that, so she used her Godslayer attack, which is 6 dice.
And this was on Ms. Marvel.
It was, and it was a cracker. So it was 4 hits to start with 2 crits to add in there, which gave me another 2, so a whacking 6 damage.
So yeah, you wouldn't have been able to do this if Nebula was
I
dead.
wouldn't have, no.
Because you did actually kill, or not kill, but knock out, stun, daze.
Take her first life.
Yeah.
So Ms. Marvel was then knocked out at this point, so that was potentially very pivotal.
Yeah. Me up next, and it was over to Deadpool. We're actually finally going to get to do something. He was going to have a go at Colossus, so he started off with just a stab.
The mighty Colossus may be laid low, but not with that roll.
Not with that roll, no.
You do know karate, which gave you 1 extra miss.
Yeah. Well, all the misses, and you defended.
I managed to defend that one, yeah.
So, slightly irritated, he then went for a duodenum poke. It's possibly a mistake on a guy made out of metal.
You never know. Well, you did get 2 to start.
Yeah, and then I could do a re-roll and got another
karate.
hit.
And
then a re-roll the miss, so I think that was 4 hits.
4 hits on that one, yeah. 4 hits, so I was in a bit of trouble. So I managed to stop 1 with a crit and another one with the extra dice.
2 down.
So that's 2 down.
But then you could heal damage.
Yes, I then took 1 less damage because of my organic steel, and although you slowed me and gave me the bleed effect, Colossus only moves slow anyway, and he's immune to bleed. So,
okay, well, I did try and comfort myself by using the terminal to heal myself 1.
Just heal yourself just a point, and then use your chimichanga.
Chimichanga.
So I decided to have a go back with Colossus as he was standing there. He didn't like being poked in the duodenum, and I started off with just a basic strike attack, and I managed to get, I think, a fairly good hit. Only 4 damage.
Hits, yeah. Deadpool though, 1 success, and he can re-roll thanks to knowing karate. So 1 success. So,
yeah, so 3 damage there, which is pretty hefty to start with. And then I decided after that, Colossus isn't going to play anymore. I needed to get close to the terminal to stop you scoring points, and I figured whilst I'd done the move, I might as well then hit you with a car. So he decided to start playing catch with the car.
That's his Marvel game after all, isn't it? If you're not throwing cars, what are you doing? What are you here for?
Exactly. So obviously I don't roll any attack dice, but you then roll your defence, and you stop 2 straight off the bat.
That was pretty good, and I can re-roll for that crit. Oh no, that was a re-roll for...
That was the karate.
Yeah, and then I can...
re-roll both of those crits. You managed to defend 5.
5, nicely
so
done.
my 4 damage from the car was just completely ignored.
So Colossus hurls the car at Deadpool, and Deadpool being Deadpool, it just bounces off. Probably with a cartoon comic book noise.
I'm reminded of the scene from the beginning of the first Deadpool film where the car crashes and the car's spinning and he just sort of comes out of it and he's absolutely fine afterwards.
Absolutely. Over to me and Miles. Miles whips up to Gamora, agonisingly close to the objective, but not close enough. But he is going to do a webline kick onto Gamora.
You got 2 crits there.
Yeah, didn't get any better though.
3 damage. Gamora then has to roll a defense. I score 2 saves right off the bat, and I've got a crit as well, which doesn't give me a 3rd, unfortunately, but 1 damage.
And I used the webline kick just to throw Gamora away in the hope that she have to move, only have 1 attack because she'll have to move up back to the objective.
But then I decided to burn some of my energy and activate Gamora, and she used her Assassin's Leap and leaps straight back into the combat again.
She's very good, Gamora. She's got lots of useful skills.
She is very good.
And this is where you do your Godslayer on me?
Yes, before that I spent 1 energy to take a wound off of her, which is the one you just put on her, and then I used my Godslayer attack.
Just rubbing salt into the wound, or giving me more wounds.
I think it's just mostly wounding.
Yeah, 4 hits. With the shields as well, it just looks like a monster attack.
It looked incredible, yes. You did roll 1 defense, and you could
re-roll 1, which didn't come to anything.
So it's 3 damage. I then decided to blow 4 energy and use my Cosmic Assassin attack, which I thought would be much better, but it does have Pierce, which is 1 good thing. But I only get 2 hits.
You did get the swirly though, so you did put on the Pierce.
I did, yes.
It does become relevant, because I did roll a couple of saves, a couple of swirly saves of my own, but you make one of those, not a swirly.
Yeah, so I did 1 damage to you, which is 1 more than you ended up managing to do to me, so that's still a plus.
So at the other end of town, on top of the building, She-Hulk's up, and she starts off by using the terminal to interact with the terminal, and she heals herself 1, and then she uses her superior weight training on Sabretooth to add 3 dice to the attack, I think.
Whoa.
And she uses sensational uppercut and gets an absolutely sensational roll, I think.
Yeah, it's a very nice roll indeed. There's about 6 damage there. So he only gets 3 defense dice. I managed to save 1 with a crit. and another
I'll
shield.
say
So
you did quite well here.
4 damage. He wasn't quite
Not
dead.
quite dead, which I was a bit upset about.
Sabretooth then used his Untamed Force ability to jump in and attack you with his Claw Slash, which on retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have done that because it's giving you more energy, but I did it anyway, and I hit 3 damage there, and I got a reroll from the crit, and did another damage, so 4
damage. I did get a save in.
So 3 damage in the end.
Powering me back up, enabling me to pick you up and clear the court and hurl you off the building into the fire engine.
Yeah, and that was enough damage to take Sabretooth out, or to knock him out, or stun him, take his first life away again.
But not out, and then I turn my attention to Wolverine.
Manage a crushing 8 damage attack.
I think I used superior weight training again
Yeah.
on Wolverine.
Now I only rolled 1 defense, so at this point he would have been taking 7 damage, but I used his exceptional healing card.
That has got to be one of the best uses of that card, I imagine. You
think
can't
it is,
really
yeah.
get much better than that.
No, it basically gives him an extra life,
Yeah.
effectively. But in your frustrations, you did then decide to basically lob Wolverine.
You're going off the building too.
See where your mate went? You can go join him. And he went flying off as well and took another damage himself. And then after that, she took a damage because she had a bleed effect on her.
She did indeed, but she's still on that objective, which is the main thing.
Then it was just over to me at the end for Wolverine to activate. I decided to spend some of his energy and use his The Best at What I Do ability, which effectively gives me a move followed by an adamantium slash attack. So he was just in range to crawl back up to the top of the building, so he can only move short and have a stab at you, but only did 1 damage.
Yeah. Ward his claws out climbing up that building.
Yep.
Which I managed to block.
Yep, so that was pretty much it. I realised I wanted him to move him a little bit further over, so he was closer just to contest that objective. So that's the end of round 3, Robin. Scores are
11 plays 9. It was a cagey affair, that one. I think you probably edged that round because I've got a lot of people who are nearly dead.
Yeah, I did a lot of damage, but then, I mean, she managed to boot poor old Sabretooth off the top of the building again, and Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
She's doing well. She keeps getting that power. Well, it's because you keep helpfully attacking me back in the middle of my turn.
Yeah, have some more energy. Oh, thank you very much. I was feeling a little bit low, but now I'm going to smash her in the face.
Yeah, she's actually not too unhealthy, amazingly.
So we're on to round 4.
Boom, boom, boom. Round 4. So I start off this round with Miss Marvel, who is still in Big 'Un because you knocked her out before she could do anything.
I did.
And she actually uses the Smash card to hurl the burger joint on top of Gamora, which enables her to add the number of dice equal to the burger size of the burger joint, which is 3, to her next attack, and she'll be doing her high 5 attack with 8 dice.
Ouch. You didn't get the best roll at the start there. 3 successes, but 2 were crits, and you can re-roll 2 because you're superhuman. You only got one more.
I would like a little more change out of that attack, to be honest.
4 wasn't a great deal for the number of dice thrown there.
No, but you completely whiffed.
I didn't save any, and that was enough to take Gamora down. So she was then stunned.
And you dropped a person. Because she's in Big 'Un, Miss Marvel was able to pick it up because she was within 2. And so she picked up the person and then shrunk. But I also used her remaining power to whisk that person away to give myself another 2 victory points.
Whoa. So then I decided to activate Nebula, and she takes a shot off at Miles and does 2 hits.
Yeah, and Miles comes in with a massive 3 blanks.
3 blanks.
And even re-rolls aren't going to save him there. He was nearly dead anyway.
So he was then stunned.
So he's stunned, and he does throw George Lucas to the ground.
He does. Poor old George.
Facing the wrong way. Doesn't know what he's doing. I'm in the wrong universe.
Nebula then decides she's going to use the energy to do a shock short attack onto Spider-Gwen.
Saber!
And I managed to get 3 hits. I can re-roll the other 3 because she's of her assassin ability. That manages to net me 1 more. So 4 hits in total.
And Spider-Gwen just makes a couple of saves. Better than nothing.
Better than a lot of your rolls have been. So I do 2 damage, but you do then get the stun ability because of my swirly.
Yeah, she's stunned.
And then after that I can then shove Nebula forwards because of the ability from the shock short attack.
Sadly, because Gamora was stunned, I couldn't capitalise on the dropping of George. I just had to move Deadpool, and he very boringly did a double move over onto the objective.
Just get away from poor old Colossus.
Just got away from Colossus because Colossus is very slow, and then just to control that objective.
I then decided to run up Sabretooth because he does move very fast. He moves long, and then I used his Weapon X program, which means I can throw him small to basically close that distance, get him over to grab George, and then spend an energy to pick him up. I wasn't actually in range of anyone because obviously Miles was already stunned, so I then just moved him up a bit closer so he could have a go at Ms. Marvel next turn.
I shook off Gwen's stun and then moved her up to there, but I couldn't attack because I was out of actions.
But you then did use your web line.
I did use my web line, yes, to pull Sabretooth off the objective, and just to stop you contesting it, really.
Yeah, because nobody then had that because they were both stunned over there.
Yeah.
At this point, I only had really Colossus left and Wolverine, and I decided just to use Colossus and pass with him.
So meanwhile, over on the building, She-Hulk is bleeding profusely, but not surprising because she's attacking Wolverine. She starts with a sensational uppercut, fishing for some power, but my roll wasn't brilliant.
You only got 3 successes in total, and Wolverine has 4 defense dice. I didn't save very many, I only saved 1, it's down to 2 wounds left.
Absolutely, so then I tried some superior weight training to add 2 dice to this attack, so I'm going to roll 9 dice to attack. Surely I'm going to
Oh dear. I was wrong, he had 3 wounds as well, so you did 2 hits. That wasn't even enough to kill him, even if I missed everything. But just because, you know, we know how the dice work against us.
Superheroes.
I then roll it, and I managed to save pretty much all of them.
With room to spare.
Bounced off them.
I used the terminal to heal 1 back on She-Hulk. I was hoping to throw Wolverine off the building, but I didn't get the power to do that.
And then you took a wound because you had the bleed effect. I then attacked with Wolverine, doing an adamantium slash attack, which only did 1 damage. It's probably one of the worst rolls I think you rolled.
So we swapped there because I actually defended as well. So these two are just bashing each other. Just girder on steel.
Very, very ineffective.
Girder on vibranium. Is it vibranium?
Adamantium.
Sorry,
adamantium.
Yeah, sorry, I get my metals confused.
I mean, you can't get your fake metals mixed up. Yeah. So I then decided to use the best of what I do again to move Wolverine and do his adamantium slash attack, but the swirlies are then double damage, which are good because I rolled a swirly, but I only got 3 in total.
Yeah. I get a couple of successes, but you do
1 damage there.
You've got pierced, yeah.
Yes, I remove 1 with the pierce, and you take 1 damage. I then also used the terminal to heal 1 of my wounds, and I realised that Wolverine was a bit further away than I meant to move him, so I shoved him just a little bit back to make sure he was contesting.
Oh no, I'm sorry, you've touched it. You can't do that now.
No. This is like chess. Once you take your finger off.
Yeah.
End of round 4. What are the scores, Robin?
14 plays 11. Oh, it's close.
Oh. So I need somehow. I don't think I can win this. I think it's just going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
It's getting very messy. There's lots of people going down all over the place now, and it's who's going to be up to be able to do something when you want to actually activate them. So
yeah, I think you might take it yet.
It's hard to say.
It is very difficult to say.
It could be a very terrible dice roll. Can spell doom.
Actually, if I could have just got a slightly better dice roll in that game, I could have taken Wolverine out, and I would have got 1 more. I'd have been 1 away from winning, and I'd have felt a lot more confident.
I mean, she had 2 massive attacks, and you did no damage at all. Well, and then he just healed himself 1 because of the terminal, which just adds insult to injury, and just God knows. So anyway, on to round 5, and I think this is going to be the final round.
Quite possibly.
Let's get cracking.
Ooh. Okay, it's getting close to the back end of the thing. I feel like I've got it in control.
You were in the lead.
Yeah, and I'm going to start by attacking Nebula. And actually, Deadpool pays off with his duodenum punch.
Yeah, he did 4 hits, 5 hits with his karate.
And then 6 with the crit rerolls. 6 hits.
Nebula should have already been dead, so she's on like 1 wound here. So I didn't save anywhere near enough, and that was Nebula stunned. She was taken out for the rest of the round. I think at that point you didn't have anything else you could do with...
No, so we just stood on that objective, trying to make sure I get those victory points. What I need, I think I only need 3 victory points to get over the line.
Yeah, I think it was. So I then activate Sabretooth, and he decides to go for Miles and have a claw slash attack at him, which was brutal. 4 hits to start with.
With a crit.
2 crits, in fact.
2 crits, sorry.
5 damage in total. Damage.
And you've got pierce and all sorts of horrible things.
Pierce and bleed, yes.
So my rubbish roll at this point, and I roll that, and it doesn't matter because you just convert it to a blank anyway. I just convert
it with Pierce, and that takes out Miles.
She takes Miles out in 1 fell swoop. That's the 2nd time in this game you've one-shotted somebody.
It was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I then decided at that point to blow the energy I'd gained and the other energy that I had to then free the agents that I had to get me two victory points.
To send George to a galaxy far, far away.
I did. At that point, I didn't have very much I could do on anybody. I decided at that stage then I was just going to have a go at Spider-Gwen.
Just in range.
And blow,
unlucky for Spider-Gwen.
Blow the rest of my energy
because
with
it was
my
another
Savage
monster
Predator.
roll.
It was fantastic with my Savage Predator attack. Did loads of damage there. Spider-Gwen also didn't stand much for chance.
Spider-Gwen goes home. Pop.
So Sabretooth took out 2 people on his own.
Yeah.
He just went ape on everyone.
And at this point, I was starting to feel a little bit dejected. So Miss Marvel, she's only small, but she's still got a mighty Morpho Punch.
With a crazy range on it.
She is range 4. It's only 4 dice, but she uses that on Gamora. And actually, it's only 3. It doesn't matter if it's only 4 dice if you do that.
Yep.
5 hits.
5 hits on Gamora. She's only got 3 defense. I say only because I rolled 3 defense.
If you do that, that was a good rolling from us there. If I got 5 damage on her, that could have changed things.
Gamora would have been out, I think, at that point, but it wasn't. But she only took 2.
I did push her back with the Morpho Punch ability, and then sadly I couldn't then follow up with another Morpho Punch because I had to contest that objective.
So I then decided to activate Gamora, and she used her Assassin's Leap ability to jump straight back into the fray, and then spent some more energy to use her Cosmic Assassin attack, which was pretty good. It was 4 damage. I could use her ability to flip 1 to 5 damage. The crit didn't net me anything else, but that was 5 damage.
And then
you managed to stop 1.
You got 1, but it wasn't enough because you had Pierce.
Yeah.
So off I go, I think.
Yes, that was enough to take
Miss
Miss Marvel out.
I was very dejected then because suddenly I've gone from having quite good ball control to having almost none.
I just took out 3 people in 2 activations. It was mad.
I'm just thinking about it now. I don't know whether I should have attacked you with her a second time because I was saying about contesting that objective. They were all knocked out. So if you've got 2 of them next to it, then I couldn't have done anything anyway. So I think I'm actually wondering whether I made a mistake there, but who knows? So back over at the Battle of the Brownstone, the punch up in the penthouse is She-Hulk, and she uses her superior weight training to get a couple of extra dice on Wolverine and tries another sensational uppercut, not for the first time.
It was not a bad roll to start with. You managed to get 5 successes there, I think it was. But then I rolled 3 defense there. Followed by another
4
1.
defense, I think so. It was 5, wasn't it? You did 4 and I did 1 damage. I was like, I only got 1 power. So I couldn't use anything else. I had to use sensational uppercut on its own, 7 dice. Now I'm looking to try and kill you here so I can win that, get that objective.
Yeah, I mean, he still had about 5 of his wounds left, I think, on Wolverine.
And I did actually get quite a good roll there because I...
got another 5 successes.
Yeah, 5 successes.
Can I roll the same again? No, I cannot. I rolled 1 defense there. Did I get any more on the crit? No, I did not. So I took 4 damage and I had 1 wound left.
So that gave me enough power to use Clear the Court.
Oh.
And I hurled him off the building into the fire engine.
Just imagining her getting so annoyed, just grabbing Wolverine by the scruff of his neck and throwing him off the building, landing into a fire engine. And that was the last wound, which was enough to stun him.
Yeah.
And with that, the game was over.
Yeah, Colossus contested his objective, but it wasn't enough.
No, sadly not. Round 5. What are the scores, Robin?
Oh, it's 16 to me, 15 to you.
So close.
And I have to say, in the middle of that round, I was like, I can't believe it. You're going to nick it from me.
It was
I
so
edged in front, and you're going to nick
very
it.
close. If you hadn't have kicked Wolverine off that building, because he only need, you did just enough to knock him out
to do it, and keep regenerating that power. So when I watched you. You a bit of luck
because you rolled. I think in the previous round, you rolled like 18 dice and did no damage to him. By all rights, he should have been a squishy puddle on the floor.
And that's made the difference. That extra power is. I was kicking myself earlier in the game when I didn't move Gwen over to try and pick up the George, the civilian. I don't know whether she actually could have done it, but I didn't even try it because I was moved. Dip all the way first.
The building was in the way as well. You couldn't even see him because of the way you were standing. So,
but I was kicking myself because I had thought because you killed three activations, 3 people dead, or it might even have been 2 activations. You might have Sabretooth might have taken 2 people out in one.
No, Sabretooth took out Spider-Gwen. Right. Gamora took out Miss Marvel. Who took out Miles? That might have been.
Gamora or Sabretooth.
One of the 2.
But in that last round, we lost Nebula.
Yeah. Wolverine, well, she got KO'd. Yeah, he got KO'd.
And then you actually completely killed Miss Marvel, Spider-Gwen and Miles. So that was absolutely brutal 5th round.
That was absolutely and
The
15,
Wolverines
16.
then edged it. Whoa. So
I mean-
Deadpool, all he's done in both games, pretty much, is just sit on objectives.
Yeah, and Colossus didn't do very much. He slowly pounded across the board after forgetting to grab this objective, whereas if he had at the start, it could have been 16 all at this point.
Yeah, although he might not have been, I don't know whether he would have been. He probably would have been. He probably would have been here, yeah.
It's hard to say.
If you aren't there, Ball should be your uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always think with the slow characters, you almost do need to lead them on a back line.
Yeah,
And something like come and get it.
I feel like maybe he should have gone off facing off against Hulk, but I think he would have died a lot sooner than Wolverine. It's hard
Wolverine
to
is
say.
very hard to kill, although we did discover after Pete flipped the card over that actually if you do manage to take Wolverine down, he's less useful.
He's slightly less powerful and he can't hold objectives. He gets very angry, which oddly Sabretooth doesn't. So Sabretooth manages to retain some of his cool even when he's injured, weirdly. But there we go.
Shall I open the envelope?
Let's open the envelope.
Was it the heroes or was it the Skrulls?
Oh, let's see. Let's see. Have the heroes managed to capture?
It's the Skrulls!
Oh, no!
The Skrulls infiltrated New York's finest.
The heroes have once again been unable to find any of the Skrull agents to gain any more of their plans.
You did rescue a couple of Skrull agents.
I did, yeah.
That, but these terminals, they managed to sow discord and all sorts of horrible things are going to occur in the city now. Who knows what's going to happen? Find out next time.
No, that's Batman.
Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yeah. Do hope you've enjoyed it. Please do like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know if you want to see more. Let us know what characters, heroes you think we should be picking up next. We will be running another draft to pick up another hero next. I think something else equally green and angry might be coming along soon.
Oh, I'm not sure I want to see that. I like having Hulk. I don't want you to have one too.
So we'll see you soon in Marvel Land.